It's the PokerNews Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 842nd episode of the PokerNews Podcast. It is a special emergency episode because last night history was made. Daniel Negreanu winning a bracelet, number 7, taking down the 50K PPC. Connor, it was pretty electric. We're going to get into it here along with the Millie Maker winner and stuff, but we're not at Level 9 Studio, right? We didn't have that book. We're like, let's go into the studio here at the WSOP where you normally film your podcast, Life Outside Poker. But Negreanu, man, you were there. It was electric.
Yeah, change of pace. We had to do this emergency podcast, but it really was electric. And I got to see the whole thing because I was live reporting the PPC. I mentioned this on the previous podcast we did that I was reporting it. And so to see Negreanu run deep, make it to the final 5, there was a crazy hand on day 4 that I also got to witness live that I'm sure we'll get into, but it really was just crazy to see history made. And yeah, energy's still high here at the WSOP.
Yeah, it's I've been doing this as my 16th World Series of Poker, and I've covered great moments throughout. You know, many of Phil Hellmuth's bracelet wins, Phil Ivey's last one, number 10, and there's just been moments, main event winners or what have you. And last night was very special. And I also think that the 2024 World Series of Poker as a whole ranks up there among the all-time best. And what's great is we still have 3 weeks. The main event hasn't even happened. So much more can happen. But when you have Ivey winning a bracelet for the first time in 10 years, when you have Negreanu winning a bracelet for the first time in 10 years, it's just special, right? Scott Seaver winning 2, John Hennigan winning number 7. Like, the storylines are there. So let's get into the PPC. This year, 89 runners. It awarded a $4.2 million prize pool. Of course, this tournament always gets the best of the best. Mixed games, 9 different games. Negreanu has said time and again that this is his favorite event of the year that he looks forward to every year. Aside from the main event, maybe this is the bracelet he most would like to win, and then he does it. He's been in a slump. He hasn't won a bracelet since 2013, and he won 2 that year when he won Player of the Year, but one was at the WSOP Asia Pacific, which no longer happens, and then the other was at WSOP Europe that year. So this is his first bracelet in Vegas since 2008. I wasn't even around back then. I didn't see, the bracelet. This is my first bracelet in Vegas that I've seen him do it. I don't know, like, you were there though. You were reporting it. I wasn't. I was recording the other episode of the PokerNews Podcast and doing some stuff. But like, what was the general atmosphere like around the mothership?
It was the craziest that it's been in there all summer. And this is my 4th WSOP, and I don't know if I've seen it get that crazy outside of the main event. During the main event, of course, it's absolutely insane in there. But just being in the mothership for this, there were so many people there here for Negreanu. It took a while for them to get there. During 5-handed play, it was kind of just like a regular tournament. When it got 3-handed and then heads up, all of a sudden everyone just crowds in. And it was interesting because there was actually another huge tournament going on the other side of the tournament room, and there were a few rowdy rails over there that were really getting excited. So just throughout the entire room, the energy was crazy. But seriously, just seeing all of Negreanu's fans there, I mean, it's been clear that he is poker's biggest ambassador. He's the most popular poker player, the most recognizable face of poker. But seeing him run deep in a prestigious event like this and seeing how many people are there cheering him on, whether it's a raise and take pot, people are there clapping for him. There are chants of Daniel, Daniel, just really crazy energy. And you could see Daniel get emotional with the victory. You could tell this one really did mean a lot for him. For a lot of the reasons you mentioned, this is a special victory.
Yeah, and let's show it to you. We've got a winner's interview with Daniel Negreanu. Here's the PokerNews video. Check it out.
Time since the last bracelet. What are your feelings right now?
I mean, a lot of relief, really, because like I was saying, I have a lot of anxiety about coming heads up. I've had so many seconds, and it was just nice for things to really feel like they went my way, at this final play.
So you've been playing this event since 2006. What does this rank in terms of career accomplishments?
There's one event in the world that I want to play more than any, and I wanted to win more than any, and it's this one. this is the one. I mean, obviously the main event is special and it's in a different way, but this one is all the best players in the world, pro heavy field, playing 100-minute levels, 3-hour levels, days and days of grind till 12 hours a day. So to come out on top, you can't fluke that.
See your vlogs every day. Thousands of people watch them. You see you interacting with fans all the time. How important do you take your role as a poker ambassador in trying to grow the game?
I mean, I always sort of just fell into it. It's something I always felt like I could do. I was a natural for. Being on camera doesn't bother me one bit. And I thought it'd be fun to give people a chance to sort of sweat, along with me. And that's why I do what I do. It's just fun.
So your first bracelet since you married Amanda, what does it mean to you to have her here with you?
It's very cool. This is the first time she's been down here since we moved here, because she's going to come for when I win, and I haven't been winning. So it was nice to have her here for the moment, for sure.
Is it more meaningful to you to end the drought, or is it more meaningful to you right now to have won the PPC?
Yeah, emphatically. Because imagine I won a 1K turbo online and got my 7th. It's okay, whatever. This is a 5-day marathon against all professional players playing 9 different games for 12 hours a day. You got Phil Ivey on your left. You got John Hennigan on your right. There's no soft spot. So to come out on top in this, that's a real win.
How much more difficult is it now to win a bracelet than it was when you last won one?
Well, there's so many great players out there now in big fields. The poker's just growing and growing, so it's obviously more difficult. I continue each year to put myself in position, and finally today, everything went right for me to win.
Now with the bracelet, are we chasing player of the year now, or do you think you still have a shot at that?
I was always chasing player of the year, undercover. I knew I needed a win or two. So, and the way that it works now is you only need to count 10 cashes. I think I have 9, and another win, that puts me in, that'll put me up there.
Like you said, you could see how much it meant to Negreanu. This was special. We did a recap article, of course, and in it they made note the last time he won a WSOP bracelet on American soil, so in Vegas, George W. Bush was president. The Incredible Hulk was the #1 movie at the box office. I was dropping out of law school in New Orleans at the time. What about you, Connor? Were you were probably in high school or something? Maybe not even?
Honestly, summer of 2008, I was probably here on vacation seeing The Hangover in theaters. That's kind of but I was in 8th grade, and poker was not a part of my life at that time, that's for sure.
And a lot's happened between now and then for Negreanu. He had 5 runner-up finishes since 2014, including the 1 million big one for one drop. I even said when he was heads up against Bryce Yockey, who's a crusher, has done well in this event, but has also run god-awfully bad, as we're going to talk about here in a minute. But they're heads up, and I just have this feeling, I'm like, oh man, I think Negreanu is going to get another runner-up finish, and this one's going to be the most brutal of all, right? Number 6 runner-up, and then missing it in his favorite event, but that's not the way it went. The cards were in his favor, and it lined up for Negreanu. Now, Bryce Yockey getting unlucky. The reason I say this was because in the penultimate day, there was a big hand in which it was a Omaha high-low hand. It was Negreanu on the shorter side of things. Bryce Yockey has a big stack. They're cruising along. And what ended up happening was Bryce Yockey got it in as a huge favorite again, and Negreanu ends up hitting a runner straight flush to stay alive. The hand is absolutely insane. Check it out.
And he's going to raise right away.
And Daniel definitely, I think, is going to continue here. And if he catches another diamond on the river, could get himself in a world of hurt here.
Well, is there a world where he thinks, he knows he's not drawing dead. He can catch 6 of diamonds, catch the jack of diamonds. But is there a world where he thinks, I've got 4 diamonds.
Yes, but
I could be drawing dead here.
He could be drawing dead here, but he feels that even if he's against a hand like 3 8s, he has a lot of equity.
Oh, my.
Did he make a straight flush?
He made a straight flush.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
What an incredible hand.
Yeah.
Poor Bryce.
That is amazing.
This is another TV hand where Bryce loses a hand that's almost unlosable.
That is unreal.
Bryce?
Now, and by the way, he gets scooped. He gets
Unbelievable.
scooped.
Bryce is just going to call, I think.
No, the raise.
I know, I'm saying he's not going to 3-bet. No, it actually went Bryce bet and Daniel check raised.
Okay.
I think I have a 7-card straight flush.
I was going to say straight flush.
Almost. What? 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King.
It's a pretty nice hand right there.
Jesus.
Fucking drill a straight flush against my full house.
Bryce just cannot get away from these insane hands at the final tables.
That is absolutely crazy.
That's so fucking.
Did that really just happen?
Jesus
fucking Christ.
That was a little lucky.
So there you can see it. That hand really helped Negreanu get on the right track. And for Bryce Yockey, Connor, it was just another brutal bad beat, televised in the 50K PPC because what was it, like 4 years ago? He had what is arguably the worst bad beat in the history of poker.
Yeah, and I made this connection after seeing the hand live, and then Scott Seaver tweeted, like, how unlucky is Bryce Yockey to be one outed here? Because in the same event, at the same final table of poker's most prestigious event of 50K, back in 2019, he took one of the worst beats in poker history against Josh Aurier, a member of Team Lucky, who, you know, maybe that's where the luck for Team Lucky began. But I actually wasn't familiar with this hand until a couple weeks ago where somebody mentioned it, and I said I hadn't seen it, and then I watched it, and so it is kind of funny that history kind of repeated itself. Definitely not funny for Bryce Yockey. I mean, that's just a sick beat. He literally had a full house on the turn. I mean, it was a stone one-outer.
We say that because, Negreanu wouldn't. He could have hit the 6 of diamonds for the straight flush as well. Yep. But that would have given Bryce Yockey a low. So he would have gotten half the pot. The only way Negreanu wins that entire pot is that one card, and boom, it comes. So,
and you just think about that. You know, if Negreanu doesn't hit that card, then he goes out on day 4 with, what was it? I think there were 5 or 6 players remaining, and it would have been completely different energy the next day, and who knows what would have happened. Maybe Bryce Yockey would have come out on top, but yeah, because of that, we get to see Daniel Negreanu win a historic 7th bracelet. So pretty crazy how, you know, things can happen.
Yeah, there was another big hand for Negreanu. It was actually when they were heads up, Bryce Yockey and Negreanu. This one was, Yockey was up about 20 million. Negreanu was sitting around 8 million, something like that. And as you're about to see, this one kind of flipped the script. You know, the one outer was definitely a pivotal hand, but I think this one was too. Check it out.
And all the prestige that comes with it.
Yeah, we maybe did not see some of the monster coolers other than the aces versus Jack 10 of spades, but we really have seen poker befitting of the occasion.
Right now?
7.35.
And a huge hand brewing here immediately, right as the first hand back from break.
Wow. Yeah, Negreanu takes us up to 750,000. Yockey pots it.
I mean, Negreanu has a hand that is very tempted to call here.
And unintrusive, by the way, in the face of the pot from Yockey. Kind of that special recipe to...
Already is.
Yeah, there's double suited live cards, or you figure they're live a lot. Those types of hands usually always call 3 bets. Wow.
7-6 deuce.
Pot.
1 pair and an open ender. Yockey with the try ace of hearts immediately pots
I don't need to film it. They're filming it, right?
But Daniel actually has more equity here. Pair and open ender.
And it goes. Yockey covers.
The best hand.
And Daniel's right.
Deuce, 4, 5,
he has the best
8,
equity.
9, 10.
Not often.
And backdoor clubs.
A guy's up against aces.
Yeah, but I have jacks.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He doesn't have hearts, no.
Proclaims the best hand with what is currently 1 pair, but that's pot limit Omaha for you. What Daniel doesn't want to see is a 7 or 6. Those would be very poor cards for him.
The 5 and the 10 would end it right away.
Or yeah.
King on the turn. Aces have held on.
But you can see even now they're still flipping. Half the deck for Daniel to win this, to double up here.
Well, Negreanu needs that half of the deck to show up. Otherwise, Yockey's going to take his 2nd bracelet of the summer already and leave Daniel in 2nd yet again. And a deuce!
.6, 5.1. Scoop again.
All right, so there you see it. Negreanu flipping the script, goes on to win it. And for Bryce Yockey, it's an interesting spot, right? Like, Negreanu is arguably the most popular poker player in the world. Like you mentioned, fans just love him. And it's because he's viewed as more of a common man, even though he's not, right? He's playing all these 50Ks and higher. But he also does jump into the 500s and stuff. But he's very personable. He takes photos with people, whereas a guy like Phil Ivey is very enigmatic. He's mysterious, right? He just comes in, goes out, doesn't really talk and engage with the media like Negreanu does. So for that reason, I think people feel more of a personal connection with him. They also buy pieces of him, right? I actually own like a 0.006% or whatever, so this was good for me, on poker stakes.
Yeah.
So, but for Bryce Yockey, it's a weird spot, right? Because I want to say he's the villain. He's not the villain at all, but when you have 98% of the people rooting for Negreanu, it's got to be a tough spot. I'm giving him all the credit in the world. Between the beat that he took against Jazayeri years ago, the straight flush beat that he took against Negreanu, then losing heads up, he's a classy guy. He tweeted, "Congrats to Real Kid Poker. I really wanted this one, but I know he did as much, if not more than I did. Was a fun battle," and followed it up with the 25K and 50K PLO next up. If I can make some noise there, POY is a real possibility. I'm just going to say this right here. I'd like to see Bryce Yockey win the POY, right? If he's going to take these bad beats in the PPC, doesn't get the bracelet. He's already won a bracelet this summer, but let's get Bryce Yockey that POY.
I think he deserves it, and like you mentioned, he really is just a class act. I mean, to take beats like that in such a prestigious event so deep, and still he's happy for Negreanu and says he might have even wanted it more. Bryce Yockey, definitely a class act and has had a stellar summer. So yeah, let's see him take down POY.
He's currently 27th on the POY list with 1,716 points. To put that in perspective, the leader right now is Jeremy Osmus, who having an incredible summer as well, hasn't won a bracelet. So he was at the final table of this 50K PPC, ended up finishing in 6th place, Phil Ivey in 7th place. But for Bryce Yockey, if he can put together, he'll be right in the thick of things. So Jeremy Osmus on top with 2,927 points, Chris Hunichin, 2,751. With this win, Daniel Negreanu's back in it. He's number 5 on the leaderboard, 2,340 points. He even said in an interview, as you saw, POY, he was like, before the series, yeah, I'm just going to do my thing. But he said secretly, yeah, he was going to go for POY. So it's wide open. As I said, there's so many great storylines that are happening. But this is definitely going to be a highlight of the 2024 World Series of Poker. And Drea Renee, it was funny. I went in when they were heads up. I was near the main stage, and I was standing right next to Drea Renee. And we said, first time I seen her all summer, oh, hey, how you doing? And gave a hug. And I said something along the lines of I hope you get that big interview, alluding to I hope Negreanu wins this 7th bracelet, this moment, and then she's going to be the one to do it. And she was. She absolutely nailed it in a clip that really showed how emotional Negreanu got. Check it out.
Emotion, relief, tears, all of it, because it's really been a long time, And I love playing, and I always want to win, and this has always been my favorite event to win, And playing heads up against Bryce was a pleasure because he's a monster. I didn't want to play big bet spots with him at all. I tried to stay out of his way, but I'm just thankful that, nothing bad happened.
Yeah. And talk to me about what it means. You have your fans here, your team, and of course your wife, Amanda. What does it mean to you to have them here to celebrate this historic day?
Yeah, I got to be honest, I'm mostly like a lone wolf during the World Series. I do my own thing, but having everybody here, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it, but I feel really nice to see the crowd like that. And my wife here.
And with that, Daniel, I present to you this WSOP gold bracelet. Hold it up right there. There you have it, your Poker Players champion, Daniel Negreanu, guys.
So there you can see it, Connor. Clearly emotional. You were there. You had a front row seat. What was it? Was it just the magnitude of the moment, breaking that long streak, that long drought? His wife was there, Amanda, his friends and family.
I think it was a lot of those things. He did mention this is the first bracelet he's had with his wife, Amanda, there. And she actually, I'm pretty sure she's never even been down here to the WSOP. She doesn't come down here and sweat him very often. He had her come out to the final table. And so to have her there, seemed like a big moment. They got some very good winners photos together. But I think really, as far as the magnitude of it all is, Negreanu was very competitive. David, our live reporter, led in his recap with a great quote from Rocky Balboa, and Negreanu was wearing a Rocky shirt there at the final table. And, that's all intentional. He is a fiercely competitive person, and I think especially with Phil Ivey just winning a bracelet, one of his contemporaries winning a bracelet a few weeks earlier, Negreanu was really motivated. And I think why he got emotional is because he said he wants to be recognized as one of the best in poker. We mentioned that he's poker's biggest ambassador and the most popular player, but he wants more than that. He wants the, whether it's the respect of his peers or of the public, he wants to prove himself, and I feel like with a PPC victory, he finally did that.
Goddamn right. Yeah, like if there was one to win, that was the one. You know, like he even alluded to, if he won his 7th bracelet in a $1,000 hyper turbo online, we're not sitting here doing a special episode of the podcast, right? That PPC is right there, right below the main event. Like there's not a bracelet he could have won that to make a bigger impact. Talking about his bracelets, his first came back in 1998, $2,000 pot limit Omaha. And that one, as well as the next two, 2003, 2004, Limit Hold'em and Limit Shoe, all those bracelets were at Binion's Horseshoe. This was before the big poker boom. And then it moves over to the Rio. That's where he won his bracelet in 2008. Only bracelet he's won at the Rio, ever will. Then it was the Asia Pacific, WSOP Europe in 2013. And that was it until last night, and gets it done here at the Horseshoe, the new Horseshoe. Now, Connor, here's a little fun thing. We've only been here at this Horseshoe for several years, 3 years now, and we're long removed from the Binion's Horseshoe days. But there are some players, only a select few, who have won bracelets at Binion's Horseshoe, at the Rio, and here at the new Horseshoe. Do you know, Negreanu is one, obviously. Do you know some of the others?
Well, before this, I was trying to prep because I thought this might come up, so I was trying to think of who they are. So, let's see. Phil Hellmuth. Phil Ivey just won one.
That's right. That's 2 of them.
Josh Aryeh.
That's the hard one, so kudos.
And then, not Eric Seidel, because he won one in Paradise, but so I guess that wouldn't count. But those are the only ones I can name.
One more, I believe, John Hennigan.
Oh,
he won, bracelet number 7 earlier this year. So, a very select club there to do it, but Negreanu gets there. So congratulations to Kid Poker. He's not done yet. We've got a lot of WSOP to go, still 3 weeks. The POI is wide open. The main event hasn't even started yet. So what would you love to see from here on out? And I'll tell you what I'd love to see. I'd love to see Hellmuth get number 18. You give me a year where Phil Ivey wins a bracelet, Daniel Negreanu wins a bracelet, and Phil Hellmuth wins a bracelet. Like, I am going to move the 2024 WSOP to the top of the list. And, I don't know, give me a big name pro at the final table of the main event, or like a woman winning the main event. Give me something like that. God damn, that would be awesome. What would you like to see?
Not to piggyback off of you, but pretty much all of those things. From a poker media perspective, definitely the holy trinity for us is Hellmuth, Ivey, and Negreanu winning bracelets. We've already gotten 2 of those 3. So just from a reporting perspective, a content creation perspective, it's been an amazing summer, and the only thing that could make it better would be Hellmuth. But the other things that you mentioned, a woman winning the main event, sparking another poker boom, that would be awesome. A big pro running deep in the main event would be cool. I'm thinking of Chance Corneth back in 2021, and that really does just change the energy when there is a well-known player in the field deep in the main. So any of those things.
The only thing comparable I can explain with Negreanu to last night was when Negreanu almost made the main event final table at the Rio. Gosh, I don't even know, in 2014, something.
Was that the McKeon year?
Yeah, it was.
2015.
Yeah. So you finished in 11th place, just missed it. But the atmosphere at the Rio that year was electric. The atmosphere last night, of course, with Negreanu was the center stage attraction, if you will. But that room was a busy one because there were several other final tables playing out. One of them was the Millionaire Maker, right? This was event number 54 on the schedule, $1,500 buy-in, $1.2 million prize up top, and 10,939 runners. Absolutely massive field. And it was on one of these secondary tables. It was being streamed as well on Poker Go. Donnie Peters and Remco Rinkama, my 2 good colleagues, were doing the call for this one. And I was showing some friends around that, given the WSOP Tour, they're not poker people. And I happened to be there when the winner was crowned. I wasn't there, but the crowd started going wild, and I said, it's a foreigner who won. I don't know who or what, but I can tell by the crowd reaction that this is a foreigner. Then I seen a jersey, the blue-white jersey. I'm like, that's Argentina. So an Argentinian won. Indeed, it was Franco Spitale defeating Justin Carey. I know you were focused on Negreanu, but you know what I'm talking about, right? They went apeshit in the back.
I remember the exact moment because I'm over there in the Thunderdome covering the Negreanu thing, but then all of a sudden you hear all this commotion, and it's funny because I wasn't over there, but you could pretty much tell what happened, that, somebody put a beat on somebody to win a bracelet because one of the rails is there all energetic and cheering, and then all of a sudden the other rail just explodes, and I think they even hop the railings, and were spraying soda or whatever it was. So it was just a crazy reaction. And for that to be happening while the PPC was happening, again, it really was just crazy energy in there. And seriously, these international rails, these Latin American, South American rails, whenever one of these guys runs deep, their rails go absolutely crazy. And I don't know, it can be a little chaotic, but I think it's good for the game. We need more of these big reactions. We need less of the serious pro who, it's just another day winning a bracelet. We need these emotional reactions. They're good for the game. They're entertaining, and they really just highlight like how much money these people are playing for. It's $1 million or becoming a millionaire. Like, this is life-changing stuff.
It was amplified by the final hand. Absolutely insane. You're going to see it here in a second. Just in the Millie Maker, on the stage, with Negreanu in the background and all your friends, like to have this hand come up where they get it in pre-flop, ace-10 versus pocket deuces, the ace-10 of Franco, the ultimate winner, and Justin Carey. Justin Carey flops a set of deuces, but loses. You've got to see it. You're going to see the hand, and you're going to see it followed by a different angle that PokerNews took of the celebration that happened, and you get a taste of what these rails are like. Check it out.
He's going to get involved here in the very next hand as Mark Carey, his nephew, sends us another $20. Says, love you guys, I can hear you. Concert is still delayed. Have my earbuds in. All right. Good to have you with us here. All right. Carey comes in with the limp. Spitale now on the big blind with ace-10 offsuit. He's going to raise it up. Okay, here we go. $14 million is the raise from Spitale. Now, Donnie, if you're Carey with the Ducks, can you continue here?
I mean, it's going to be hard. I almost kind of lean jam, as crazy as that sounds. I mean, flatting here, what are you really going to do with Ducks? Like, it's just going to be so hard.
Oh, wow. He pulls the trigger and moves all in. Justin Carey with the deuces. And Franco Spitale snaps him off with the ace-10. We have exactly 200 million chips in the middle. The bracelet is on the line. Justin Carey's tournament life at risk, and they're holding the deuces up in the air.
They got the whole deck over there. This is great.
Both players with a sizable rail. Chance for Messi are raining down as the Argentinians are looking for a 10. The Americans want a deuce, the Argentinians a 10. Let's see what the flop brings. Oh, deuce in the window, a 10 behind it. Justin Carey hits a set.
97% now to double up to 200 million. Flop the stacks.
Franco Spitale in a world of hurt here, and an ace hits on the turn, opening up runner potential.
It's never easy. It's never easy.
The chants for Messi are as loud as they've ever been. That, of course, the 10 on his back as he carried Argentina to the World Cup. Can Spitale close it out? It's an ace on the winner.
There it is!
And Spitale hits a full house and wins the bracelet at $1.25 million. And beer is raining down on him. Everybody is losing their minds. The tournament is over in the most dramatic fashion possible. It wasn't Messi, but it was the ace.
Oh my.
And Franco Spitale is mobbed by his friends as Justin Carey accepts his defeat, but he will also collect $1 million, so that'll soften the blow perhaps a little bit.
Not to be overlooked how well Justin Carey played, very much deserving of the seven-figure score that he earned here, runner-up in the 2024 WSOP Millionaire Maker.
Emotions running high here for Spitale. What an incredible win. $1.25 million here in the Millie Maker. And there it is, the embrace between the two competitors. What an incredible way to end the night here on our horseshoe table. Tears in the eyes of Franco Spitale. He cannot believe it. Argentina reigns supreme. I've seen this story before. Can I take it? Yes, sir. It is yours. Take it home. There it is. There it is.
Like lifting the World Cup.
Oh, man. There it is. The win goes to Argentina. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in.
So there you have it. Pretty sick last hand. That one is going to go down in the history books. And an awesome rail, getting sprayed with beer. One of the things you and I talked about, Connor, though, is a hand like that can be absolutely brutal, traumatic to some players. Not all. Some people can shake it off and go on and say, hey, that's fine, I'm happy. But I don't know what Justin Carey is, but I know if it was me in that spot, a hand like that, being one card away or whatever, it was runner away from a bracelet, and to have that bad beat happen there in that spot with that much money on the line, it's just, that is a tough pill to swallow. It could break a man down and stick it with him the rest of his life.
No, it really could. We were talking about this because I do think it's so interesting. I almost feel like the human mind, the human body, whatever it is not made, does not have the capacity to deal with these emotional swings. For someone to be like, say, a 98% favorite in a hand or a 95% favorite with one card to come, and there's an equity difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think back to the big Matt Affleck hand late in the main event back in 2011 or whatever it was, when he goes out with pocket aces in a spot that cost him several $1 million. And I don't know, just thinking about probability and emotional roller coasters, those hands really can be traumatizing. I'm happy to say I've never been in a big enough spot or been delivered a beat like that, but I really do think, something like this, you get it in heads up with a set and you end up losing for a bracelet. That's the stuff that, seriously, I feel like, depending on the resilience of the person, that can break a person, like you said.
I have been in a big spot. When I was heads up for my bracelet in 2013, I had a 2-1 chip lead. And we got it in when I had 2 pair and he just had a bigger, 1 pair bigger than mine. Anyways, long story short, the river counterfeited my 2 pair and he flipped the script. And I know that because I came back obviously to win it, which I'm so thankful for that, because if I lost, I know that for the past 12 years, I would have been thinking I was 1 card away from winning a World Series of Poker bracelet, and probably woe is me and my bad luck or what have you. So I'm so thankful that wasn't the case. But for every poker tournament, there is a winner and there is a runner-up. But there's different circumstances, right? If you make it to heads-up play and you're down 10-1 in chips, you can swallow that pill a lot better than flopping a set, being a 97% favorite, and losing. That's a much tougher pill to swallow. We did have a long-form winner interview with Argentina's Franco Spitale. Check it out.
Congratulations on your win, Franco. Let's start off by talking about your rail. How much inspiration did they give you along the way?
They gave me the energy to continue when the things didn't went that well. So it's amazing. Everyone here, I think that they enjoyed and they learned how to do it. The rail was crazy.
Do you have any interesting hands that you recall that were game changers?
Pocket deuces is a hand that we like. Our team is called something with that. So I made a good value bet on the river with pocket deuces in ace, 6, 6, 5, 3. And after that, I think that the heads up was almost cooked for me, you know. And I felt the energy, I felt it coming, and he felt it too. I think so. That kind of, I think, is the most important.
And how about the hand yesterday, the double elimination when you had ace queen versus ace 3 and ace king? That was a pretty big one.
Crazy. It was a cooler because a player shoved like 10 blinds. I went all in from a small line, and the big line woke up with ace king in the big line. But this tournament was meant for me. You know, I felt it the day 3 and the day 4. It was meant for me. I ran really good and played the best game that I had, and so the things just went very well every time. The money in this tournament was really too much, but I studied the game, so I was quite comfortable with the decisions. I never had my biggest prize had been like 150,000, so this is a lot of difference with that, but I felt really comfortable. Still, it's hard for me to believe it, you know. It's too much. Really, I dream about this all my life since I played 14 years ago poker. I promised my little girl, I have a daughter called Emma, that the next trophy will be for her, so this bracelet is for her.
All right, congratulations again to Franco Spitale on winning the Millie Maker in very memorable fashion. There were also like 4 other bracelet winners. It was a busy day. One of the busiest days of the World Series of Poker. There was the event number 64, the $600 no-limit deep stacks. This was a 2-day event, and it was won by the USA's Christopher Moen. Took down $289,000. Not too bad for $600 buy-in, Connor. Like, that's the dream.
That is the dream.
The other $3,000 no-limit hold'em, so quite a bit more expensive to enter, was won by Italy's Paolo Boy for $677,000. That tournament got 1,773 runners, so another massive turnout in a no-limit hold'em event. There was the $1,500 no-limit deuce to 7. This is a fun game. I wanted to play this event, but the PokerNews Deepstacks Championship was going on at the same time. So, you got to show that company loyalty. So I ended up playing that. But this event got 453 entrants and was won by David Funkhouser for $123,000. Owais Ahmed, Ali Islami, David ODB Baker at that final table. And then finally, the $1,000 Super Senior. So we're a ways off to this one. You got to be 60 years old to play in this one. $1,000 buy-in, 3,362 runners, and it was won by a guy that I know. You probably weren't too familiar, and maybe the poker world as a whole isn't, but Sean Jazayeri. And the reason I know that is because Sean Jazayeri is a World Poker Tour champion. It was way back in 2012. He won the $10,000 buy-in. The LAPC LA Poker Classic at the Commerce back in 2012 for $1.3 million. So I don't know, just back then in the early 2010s, if you won a WPT for 7 figures, like, you became in our mind. So here he is back winning his first bracelet, and he captured $368,000 in the process. There are some other. We talked about in the last episode. We still don't have a winner. I think the final is playing out right now. The Super Seniors, the Seniors High Roller rather. Yeah. $5,000 buy-in. Let me check into the updates here with that real quick. 6 players remaining in that one, and let's see if there's any recognizable names. None that I see offhand. Angela Jordanson, who is the fan favorite, I think, bowed out in 10th place. And then likewise, the $600 PokerNews Deepstacks Championship is down to 4 players. So we're going to have to wait till next week's episode to recap those. But Connor, we just felt the need to do this special episode because the man right here won it, right? Like, it was just such a big moment.
No, we had to. And I even had the day off and said, you know what? I don't care. These are the type of things, again, if you work in the industry, do I mind coming in on a day off to talk about Daniel Negreanu winning a historic bracelet? Absolutely not. I would have hated to miss out on it. So, yeah, I feel like an emergency podcast was absolutely warranted, and it was great to get to talk about it a bit more.
Yeah. Well, if you are watching and made it this long, we're going to do a little giveaway. You can see the Daniel Negreanu winner photo in the background. We also have this winner photo made on nice heavy stock poster board. I'm going to go get this signed by Daniel Negreanu. And if you want to win it, because I will mail it to you, if you want to win it, all you're going to have to do is we're going to tweet out this episode, right? Just retweet it. or like it on social media, on Instagram, what have you. Support this episode of the podcast, and you're going to be entered to win. And next week, we will randomly select somebody to win this signed winner's photo from Real Kid Poker, Daniel Negreanu, and I will mail it to you. Until then, I will be back at Level 9 Studio next week. New episodes twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday. One released today as we're recording this. So if you're watching this, there's also a regular Poker News Podcast episode. This is the special edition. And Connor, you've got the Life Outside Poker podcast. What's the latest episode that dropped?
Yeah, Life Outside Poker is going well. We're actually in the room where we normally film it, so this is a familiar set. But yeah, earlier this week, we had an interview with Kevin Martin drop. That was a really fun one. He talked about his reality TV roots. We got to get into Game of Gold a little bit. And he also shared that he's making his kind of the end of his reality TV run. He's going into retirement after this, but he appeared on The Amazing Race Canada. He did it with his girlfriend. So, I mean, just really cool stuff. And yeah, after that, there's someone else that I talked to. So we'll have another episode coming out, I believe, tomorrow. But it was Tyler Tott, who's someone you're probably pretty familiar with. He was really big in the online poker days, made 7 figures, took a step back from poker after Black Friday, and now he's actually a health and fitness coach, has kind of completely changed his life around, but still is active in poker. He's here at the WSOP, so yeah, look out for that interview, people.
I'm really excited for that one because he's huge on social media. Like, I follow him, and to get that one I thought was very exciting for us. And, you know, hey, if Kevin Martin has any pull, maybe not in Canada because we're not Canadian, but hook us up with that Amazing Race US edition. Connor and I think we can do pretty well. We both are well-traveled, so.
Let's get on there, Chad. You've got the experience on that reality TV stuff, but I need to get it. Let's go.
Maybe Maria Ho and Tiffany Michelle, who were on there too, could hook us up. But congratulations again to Real Kid Poker, Daniel Negreanu on bracelet number 7. And such a special moment for all of us here, and I'm sure all the fans and investors. Just one of the all-time highlights of the World Series of Poker, especially here at the new Horseshoe in the early days. I'm Chad Holloway, Connor Richards. We are at the Horseshoe. And until next time, we'll keep a seat open for you.